himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching.
Dear.
The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it?
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Radical Race Series for the final season of 2023. This is round 3 at Oulton Park, a circuit we've seen so much drama over the course of the last couple of seasons. A couple of seasons ago, indeed, there was so much drama at this venue as it came just 3 races from the end of the season. This time out, it's just 3 races from the start. This is round 3 of the championship. Here today, we've got 11 laps for the sprint race and 18 for the feature as this format continues to see success here in the Radical Race Series. My name's Ewan O'Leary. I'm alongside James Parfitt here for the evening once again, and it's good to be back again here, James, back at Oulton Park as well. We've removed the chicanes and it should be good racing with a very big field, I've got to say, on the grid tonight.
So with 26 cars in the field, it will be interesting. We know Oulton Park. We know it's renowned for not being able to be, how can I put it, very clean taken over, should we say. Because the lead car has only got to put their car where they don't want the other person to be, and they can block them off. So it's going to be very interesting, very exciting to see how they manage this not very wide circuit, let's put it that way. And we haven't got the chicane, so we've got a straight run out of Shallow Hills all the way up to Knickerbrook. That's going to be an interesting one as well, and should lead to some interesting overtakes, should we say, going into Knickerbrook.
Yes, we've in fact it's in our little intro, isn't it, for JPB, a move down the inside at Knickerbrook and a side-by-side moment from this series, what was it, 2 or 3 seasons ago. So, yeah, we can see drama down there. John McCutcheon is currently leading the championship, and he's got 17 points over James Berry, who's making a very impressive start to the season. Simon Edwards is in third after Paul LeMay and Paul Clark, and Paul Crabb, who could really do with separating each other for our sake, please. James Child is in 7th ahead of Jamie Bird, Darryl Taylor and Luke Maxwell rounding out the top 10. Although, don't forget that Luke Maxwell has only done 1 round. That's why he finds himself down there, even though he may well be a championship contender by the end. Michael LeMay is in 11th ahead of Mike Booson. Then it's Sergio De La Cruz and Seth Brown, who was going to race tonight, but unfortunately his internet's down at the moment and he says he's not going to make it in time. So he will likely go down from 14th. Tom Minot will be in 15th, tied with points with Ben Underdown. Then it will be Robert Woodward in 17th, ahead of Clark Williams, with Patrick Charlton and Damien G rounding out the top 20. Paul Godden, Phil Jocelyn and Alan Peterson round out the 23 drivers who have scored points today. But I think a lot of those 5 drivers you can see at the bottom there are here today. I know Chris Max Davis certainly is, and he may well score some points as a result of that. He'll certainly be hoping so. But the big story I thought I'd found in the week was the fact that Simon Edwards couldn't be here tonight. That was what he said in the week, but clearly he can be here, and he is out there at the moment. only just under 1 minute 20 lap times as well around here, so it means we're going to get a lot of laps in. It means that every driver will have the opportunity to do at least 6 laps, including the out lap. In this session, maybe even 1 or 2 more than that, maybe 7 laps around here. There's plenty of chances, but not that much space around this circuit.
No, there definitely isn't. I think that's one of the things they are going to have to look out for. The fact that there isn't a lot of room. So you've got to make a choice. Do you go out alongside someone, or do you let that person go and try and find a gap? That's going to be one of the main things we've got to look out for. That whether or not they're going to find a gap, or whether or not they're going to basically try and follow somebody. Me, personally, I'd probably try and follow somebody, but also at the same time, I'm not in the car. So, you know, it makes sense to go with clean air, don't get me wrong. But this run from where he was at Shell Oils down into Knickerbrook there, as we see Paul LeMay just go off in the background, is going to be a tough one. So they've got to make the decision. John McHutchison out on his own, Wayne Palmer out on his own, Simon Edwards, he's tracking down with Sergio De La Cruz at the moment. So Simon's got a little bit of a draft, but everybody else is out on their own at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, draft is never a huge factor around Oulton Park, but if you can gain a time here or there by getting some, then you won't say no. Edwards just backing off a little bit into the final corner to make sure he goes in with a clean lap. Jamie Bird there, I think that was, diving down the inside of one of the cars. Oh, and he's messed it up as well at the final corner. I think it was Jamie Bird anyway. He went for a spin there down at Lodge Corner, turn 16, the final turn. Not the last one with the corner number, in fact, but it is the final real turn, I would say. And he's really got that wrong, I'm afraid. And he will have to start another lap a little bit later on. Does look like Edwards and Maxwell were fastest in qualifying, and this is Jamie Bird going for a spin, and well, that makes him look a little bit silly, unfortunately, really, in front of that driver he just overtook, because generally the gentleman's rule is don't really overtake when you're setting up for a lap, especially that late on. It's sort of bad form to overtake in that situation, and he's made himself look a little bit silly there, Jamie Bird. We'll have to start another lap, I'm afraid, and see where this session goes. But don't forget, there's no free lap limit anymore, so that mistake means a bit less than it might have done last season. Yeah,
it definitely does there as well. 26 degrees track temperature, not too bad at all. September 30th at 9:02 in the morning. Currently here in the UK. I'm not entirely sure the last time I saw sun in September in the UK, but clearly at Oulton Park today, obviously been sunny.
Well, I mean, earlier this month actually, but we had a right heat wave, but not anymore.
No.
It's pretty grim.
Yes.
Maxwell goes to the top then with the best time so far. Then what about Edwards? He goes second. So close between the two, and that's what we expected really. I was sort of half making that point before Jamie Bird's span. Maxwell and Edwards really were the pick of the bunch in practice, excuse me. I know John McHutchison wasn't there, and that may be playing a role in that, but Maxwell and Edwards are surely the favourites for this one, although we've seen McHutchison get up there in qualifying as well, even when he doesn't practice.
Yeah, normally we see with John, though, I think that's the thing, isn't it, with John McHutchison. He can produce laps out of nowhere, and I think that's one of the things that we will be looking out for. He can obviously just go and do it. Just going to see what Wayne Palmer does, as he's going to go over the line as well. Palmer goes into 16th, 1:22.7. There's still quite a lot of drivers that haven't set a lap time. George Gonzaga has just coming to the end of his. Hopefully he's managed to keep this one clean. We got Luke Maxwell on some purples there as well, so we'll keep an eye on him. Gonzaga goes into 6th. What is Maxwell going to do? Paul LeMay right up there as well in 4th. Maxwell goes over the line, and let's see what he can do. Can it be an improvement on the 1:20? No lap time at the moment. No lap time for Paul LeMay either, so both of them must have had an off track. Mike Bousson goes and puts himself into 3rd, and John McHutchison's purple in the second to last sector and the last sector, and it should be Paul. 1:19.839. First man into the 1:19s.
Yeah, he knows his way around here, does John McHutchison, and he's well on his way right now to a good finish. Well, a good qualifying, I should say. Maxwell and Edwards are 2 and 3 at the moment, with the rest following behind. As I mentioned, a huge grid here tonight for the Radical Race Series. Points, by the way, go down to 30th place, so you really, well, in the feature race anyway. In the sprint race, some people are actually going to miss out on points despite finishing the race, which is going to be, well, provided no more than 3 don't finish, 3 or 4 don't finish. But even so, yeah, there's going to be some finishers that don't score any points in the opening race of the day today because of the way that it works. Quite remarkable, really, the way that that has transpired over Oulton Park, because it's not a circuit I associate with being particularly popular, but I think in these cars with the chicanes removed, it's quite entertaining. We continue to follow John McCutcheon, who still won't be displaced. Maxwell, and he's gone off as McCutcheon. He saves it, but that's not going to stop Luke Maxwell from going to the top, and I think that's Paul Crabb who's got up there as well. Some big improvements coming late on now, and Simon Edwards is going to add to that as well with a few purple sectors. He's still only second though. Maxwell gets to the pole for the moment. McCutcheon is pushed down a long way.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Would you count him out though? Would you count out John McCutcheon for doing something within the next, I don't know, 2 laps? I wouldn't. I would not do that at all. I wouldn't be
Certainly
surprised
not.
if he's not in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's so often been Maxwell, Edwards, McCutcheon. James Barry has got something to answer here as well, by the way. He's in 5th and he's just done a 19.9. That might be the end of his session, though. And if he does go out again, it will only be the chance for one more. McCutcheon, Crabb, Edwards, Maxwell, the drivers in front. Mike Booston's not even that far away. Neither is Jamie Bird, who's done a 20.1. And there, Clark Williams actually makes his way up to 8th place, as well as Paul LeMay, I think that is, in 9th place. That's 9 drivers separated by less than a second. It's very encouraging news indeed for the race as Luke Maxwell makes his way over the line now. He does go quicker again, a 19.3, and Simon Edwards now needs 0.2 of a second to find.
Edwards is coming off the last corner there. That's Darryl Taylor sitting out in the gravel on the left-hand side now. What's Edwards going to do? Is he going to be able to do enough? Has he done enough? He's not. It is an improvement, but not enough for Edwards. What about McCutcheon? No, we knew he wasn't going to do it this lap, but I would not be surprised if he pulls it out the bag. David Rolliston there has just lost a place to Kyan Palmer. Kyan, I'm going to go with that one, is in 17th place. New driver here this evening. Ben Underdown has just gone up into 16th, so a great job from him as well. And I think we're 20, well, we're up to 20, well, 25 if Seth Brown don't make it because of his internet. That's going to be a hell of a race rushing down into turn 1 there.
Yeah, it will be. Although turn 1's not particularly tight around here, so that will help everybody. But even so, it could be a problem for just about everyone. As over the line, there goes Clark Williams. He's remaining in 9th. James Chard joins them all inside the top 10. Now, Luke Maxwell's going a bit quicker here, but so are a few of the drivers. Even Paul LeMay has got a purple sector to his name in 12th. Luke Maxwell is going to make his way over the line. I think he's backed off here quite substantially, and he has indeed. He'll have one more chance. Paul LeMay didn't know. He's up to 3rd place. A great lap time from Paul LeMay there to improve. A 19.7 from him. Simon Edwards not that far away, but I don't think it's an improvement from him. No, not quite. What about John McCutcheon? He's only got 1 personal best. That's not going to be enough. There's going to be one last time, and I think the top 5 are all really involved for pole position.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. That lap time did not count for McCutcheon, I don't believe, or he did a 120.1, I think it was. I didn't see it come up with anything, so it makes me wonder whether or not he got an off track somewhere here as well. But he's going to go round. They've got one more attempt. It's going to be Luke Maxwell first, then Simon Edwards, then, oh no, Paul LeMay. So Maxwell, LeMay, Edwards, and then finishing off with McCutcheon. So this could be an interesting few minutes here as well. So stay close to this one, Ewan, because I got a funny feeling they're going to come on thick and fast, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a change at the top.
Well, I can't see enough purple sectors at the moment, but that's only because Luke Maxwell has only just cropped up onto the screen. Paul LeMay is not showing himself to be quite quick enough at the moment. Maybe Paul Crabb is, but what about Luke Maxwell? Will he improve here? No, I don't think that's an improvement for Luke Maxwell. It isn't. He's a few tenths away. What about LeMay? He doesn't improve either. Neither does Paul Crabb. All of them over the line. No improvement. What about Simon Edwards? He can't quite get there, but it's so close. He does improve. What about John McCutcheon? Can he improve? No, not quite. He's going to fall away right at the end. So the top 5 will remain the same. In the end, they reached their limit after about 6 or 7 minutes, and Luke Maxwell was able to hold on to that pole position.
Stellar job from Maxwell there as well. Incredible run, incredible job. He's taken that pole position. He's taken it on here. He's put himself in with a good shout here, Ewan. But here's the grid for race 1.
Yes, it's Luke Maxwell and Simon Edwards on the front row with Paul LeMay and Paul Crabb, who I suggested to separate themselves earlier, but they've not. John McCutcheon and James Barry are on row 3. They're 1 and 2 in the championship at the moment, by the way. Jamie Bird and George Gonzaga is the row 4 selection, with Mike Booston and Ben Underdown rounding out the top 10. James Child and Clark Williams, who slipped a little bit towards the end of that session in 12th. Then we've got David Rosden and Robert Woodward. Michael LeMay and Sergio de la Cruz are on row 8. Then it's Darryl Taylor and Wayne Palmer. Damien G and Kian Palmer, or whatever we want to say. Top 20, we'll have to ask him. Phil Justin and Paul Godden will be on row 11, and Chris Max Davis and Andy Thomas. And Phil Glover will round out the grid. Should be 25. Don't think Seth Brown will be here. No, and he won't, I don't think. Because his internet problems have befallen him, unfortunately. Bit of a surprise to see McCutcheon down in 5th place with Barry as well, but this is going to really open things up because we've got the championship leaders on row 3.
Yeah, we have John McCutcheon alongside James Barry. Is anyone going to be crazy to take it too wide in turn 1? We're going to find out very, very shortly. Ewan, this is going to be exciting. I can't wait for this. I think this is going to be an absolutely epic race. Well, lights are going to be coming on soon, and then it's going to be greens. There we go.
Let's see, the lights are taking a while to come on, but here they go now. The lights are on at Oulton Park, and we're on the way for the first race. It's a decent start from McCutcheon in the field, actually, but it's very even at the start. Only Crabb gets in front of LeMay, and that's it, really, between the leaders through turn 1. McCutcheon goes wide, and he tries to make a place on LeMay, who slipped back behind Barry now, Willie, as they're side by side. McCutcheon's falling down the field a lot here. The championship leader is having problems on the opening lap. He's dropped in 9th position. He's dropping further. He's pulling off the racing line at the moment. What is going on to John McCutcheon?
He's got to slow down. He got to slow down coming out turn 1. He took it too wide and unfortunately ended up on the outside line there as well. And that could only mean that he got a slowdown out of that corner. So now he's got some work to do. He is in pole position for race 2, let's not forget. That 10th place reverse. So he is in position there. Maxwell and Edwards going side by side. In so they go now. Is it going to make it through? No. Edwards manages to hold on there. But Jamie Bird takes a little bit of a trip and loses a place to Jorge Gonzaga behind him, and then it still might boost on Ben Underdown. John McCutcheon climbing all over the back of each other. Further down, Damien G is having a go at Phil Jocelyn and Phil Glover, battling it out with as well Kian Palmer. So it's going to be an interesting one, but it's all about this front end at the moment. Bird boosts on Underdown and McCutcheon. Can he come back? The William Wallace to the SR10. Time's going to be telling.
Oh, side by side again for the lead. Well, Edwards is giving Maxwell a really hard time here, and it's not entirely clear why right now. Crabb is going to close in as well and make this very awkward for Simon Edwards as he looks to attack and defend all at the same time. Well, the train just will not end, as you can see them coming around the first sector of the lap. That's Cascades in the background now in towards the Island hairpin, or Island bend, and then Shellow's corner, I should say. The hairpin. Oh, the contact and off. Simon Edwards tipped around by Paul Crabb. Oh, and there's chaos bit. Oh no, there's chaos. Cars everywhere. Oh, where do you start with this lot? Because there's cars everywhere. Big drama. Simon Edwards tipped around by Paul Crabb, and then the rest joined in with them.
Here we go now. You can see how Edwards ended up going round here. Paul Crabb, I think, may have made a little bit of contact. Edwards goes wide. Crabb goes the inside. Edward cut across him. LeMay makes it through. Barry makes it through. And then George Gonzaga gets himself caught up. That's two of the Radline cars. That's McCutcheon and Bousson. Both got them caught up in that incident as well. What I want to see, though, how did George Gonzaga go round here once more? He made it through, didn't he?
No, Crabb got involved, and there's all the contact. I think he gets absolutely smashed there, Gonzaga, by... that's a difficult identification. Oh, no, and there's off the road on the front straight as well. Clark Williams, as well as Paul LeMay.
Oh,
I think it was James Barry, by the way, who may have hit Gonzaga in the rear, but I couldn't be sure. And there was certainly a lot of contact on the opening lap there. And Luke Maxwell's now got a 6-second lead, by the way, in a real turn of events. That was exceptionally odd, I've got to say. And neatly parked against the barrier there is Clark Williams. Paul LeMay, by the way, wasn't involved. He just came into the pit lane. As down the inside there goes James Barry, I think, or is it Bird on Barry? It is. Jamie Bird gets through, and it was James Barry, by the way, who hit Gonzaga there. So, well, this has been exceptionally chaotic in the opening moments of this race. Side by side now towards Knickerbrook for Bird and Barry. And it's Jamie Bird who holds the inside and holds the place, although that's quite wide. And now Barry will look to go through on the inside line. He should have this. It's a long corner through its corner. And he's done it off the road there. And surely into the wall will go Jamie Bird. He's kept it on to the track again. But he got onto the grass on the way in. Well, this has been a chaotic start. We know that Oulton Park always provides, but we didn't think it would provide us with quite this much chaos.
No, it's been incredible. We've had 2, 4, 6 cars. Bird's gone round as well. The Bird is off. Williams has been off. Crab's gone through. Now John McHutchinson in that top 14 with Clark Williams in 15th. Williams had his own little incident there as well. Paul Godden has also made another trip round, and unfortunately he's had a bit of a rough one here. But Ben Underdown up 8 places with James Child. Ben Underdown and James Child up 8 places together. Damien G, Phil Jocelyn up 10 and 11. And also Chris Max Davis is in the top 12. He is up 11 places, but at the moment, Phil Jocelyn's up whole man for race 2.
Well, I can't tell you just how chaotic that or how big that crash was, I should say. It was absolutely humongous. It's taken out half the field pretty much. Now James Child goes through into second place. That was decisive, and it was brilliant as well. Ben Underdown had nothing in response to that one, and he says see you later, does James Child, and he'll be up the road in second place now. By the way, Luke Maxwell now with 7.5 seconds of a lead. Very, very big advantage that he has at the moment. Now the key for the likes of Paul Crabb and John McHutchison is getting through the field and getting to benefit from the reverse grid. It's a top 10 reverse, of course, in the Radical Race Series for the feature race of the evening, and it will be Crabb and McHutchison we're watching to try and make it into that top position.
I'm worried there. I don't know if they're going to make it. I've got to be honest. It's a long challenge, and they're together. That's the problem. If they were separated and Crab, Hutch, be careful, you've done that already. Side by side they go now, Crab and McHutchinson, the Irishman and the Scotsman. And it is the Irishman who comes out in front at the moment. I don't think, if they keep fighting, whether or not they're going to get all the way up into Phil Jocelyn. He is 5.5 seconds out in front of these guys going up on the right-hand side there. I don't think they're going to have enough if they continue to fight.
No, I don't think so. But it's difficult to just not sometimes, especially when you've had an incident previously and you're fighting it out again. It's difficult to stay away, and now McHutchison will go down the inside. I think he's got it this time. Crab may be seeing that he is a bit faster, and so probably worth letting him go. That was close. Out onto the grass goes McHutchison through that exceptionally committed right-hander at Knickerbrook. It's a wonderful corner in these cars, by the way. You're at full downforce like that. As it's side by side further back, Barry, Woodward, LeMay, all side by side. Is that Michael LeMay making places? It is. Michael LeMay's inside the top 5. Down the inside he goes of Robert Woodward, and this order has just been tipped on its head. A crash that has taken out pretty much half the field has given the other half a great chance at a top 10.
Yeah, the thing is, we were talking earlier on about the fact that some of these aren't going to score points, right? And at the moment, it's Edwards, Glover, Palmer, Godden and Buson are not going to get nothing for race 1. So they're not the 5 that we thought, but you've got some massive... Oh, no!
Robert Woodward! Oh, no! Robert Woodward! What are you doing? I'm hesitating today because he just seemed to lock up on his own there. He's now outside the top 10 all over again. Had a great chance and a great result, and that's all gone away, I'm afraid. As Phil Jocelyn is fighting with Sergio De La Cruz here, trying to hold him back, and I don't think this is going to last very long for Jocelyn, unfortunately. He's going to look to hold on to the top 10, and he's going to do it round the outside of Knickerbrook. Well, that would have been brave. He's not quite done it, though, and will stay in 10th place. Now John McCutcheon's beginning to make up the places. Chris McDavid's the latest victim. Now with 5 laps to go, I still think he's got a chance of a top 10 here, as has Paul Crabb.
Oh, I don't know. He's there. He's there in the background, the orange machine. There's Dela Cruz, there's Jocelyn, there's Underdown, all in front, or Woodward, sorry, all in front of him at the moment. So let's see what he can do in conjunction. 121, 121, 120, 121, 22, 26. Obviously, Woodward with his incident. 19.9. He's pulled nearly 2 to 3 seconds out of these guys out in front, and I can guarantee these two here, Phil Jocelyn and Robert Woodward, leave each other alone. Get on your bikes. Get on the Robert Woodward. Stop doing that. What's he doing?
Sorry, I thought he was going to be in the wall there. Woodward, he was out in the grass on the outside, and it's very easy to find yourself in the wall pretty soon after that. Paul Godden, Keir Palmer and Mike Poussin, by the way, are all in the pit lane at the moment. And he's. I don't think they're going to be returning. They won't score any points anyway, so there's not really much point. It'll be a bit of a last to first challenge for them, as Jocelyn will now really have to defend from Woodward. Now, he didn't defend from Dela Cruz, possibly because he knew that wasn't for a top 10 place, but this is. He does give room to Woodward, but had to defend from him there, and there's still 4 laps to go. John McCutcheon's looming in the background, may well overtake both of them before the end.
Well, we're going to find out. Simon Edwards is down here battling it out with Jamie Bird as well. Edwards battling it out with Bird. He goes up the inside. That's Edwards into 20th. So he will score points, but it is only going to be 1 point. But Simon Edwards, that's going to put a dent in his challenge, and he was on the grass there. So whether or not Jamie Bird is going to come back over the hill as well.
Whoa.
Edwards is now out of the points. He's not going to score any. Bird's going to make it through. There's battles all the way through. LeMay and Rolliston going at it. Then you've got Woodward, Hutchinson and Jocelyn in the background. You'll see them coming over the hill soon. There they are coming through Cascades. Rolliston makes it through, but McHutchinson is in 11th. 1 more place to go for the Scotsman.
Yeah.
Can he get him?
I think he will get there. Paul Crabb may well get there as well, although might run out of time. Finish 11th. Woodward locks up into the corner again. Oh no! Contact! McCutcheon's made contact with Woodward. He might land himself in some trouble for that. But Jocelyn can't take advantage, can he? Or will he? In the slipstream here on the back straight. He's on the outside. Surely that's not going to work for him. He will get his nose in front, actually, on the way in towards Knickerbrook. But John McCutcheon's not going to let that up. Side by side they go. Jocelyn's made it work. Crabb has got the best run of everybody here, and he's looking for a way through. The track's not really wide enough for this. McCutcheon's down the inside. He will have the place now. And Jocelyn's off the road. He's done well to avoid the wall. But John McCutcheon's through into the top 10, and Paul Crabb wants to take him off it.
Oh, Crabb is giving him grief. I tell you what, Crabb was all over him. Crabb got a run out of Shell Oils. He was one of the fastest exits coming out of Knickerbrook as well. And he almost didn't have anywhere to go. Like, literally, he could not find a gap. Could the Irishman, and I tell you what an unbelievable race this has been. It has been spun on his head. Edwards is in 20th. He is going to get 1 point at the moment here. Crabb's crown! Jocelyn's off!
Oh no! And off in the background is Jocelyn, by the way, through Cascades. But Paul Crabb has had a huge accident there. That's what I feared would happen to Woodward, actually, a couple of laps ago when he went wide. But it didn't have the disastrous consequences that did. Big hit into the wall for Paul Crabb, who spun in front of the field on the 2nd or 3rd lap of this race, causing half of the field to get caught up in an accident. And now, unfortunately, he's made one for himself, and he will not be starting this next race from the front because he's not in the top 10, and he will be losing out massively as he returns to the pit lane. No points for Paul Crabb.
Yeah, Edwards is now in 19th place there as well. So Edwards is going to gain 2 points. Handsome Stew in YouTube chat. Crabb went sideways. Well, he definitely did and terminated himself. Dela Cruz and Damien G side by side running over the line. G says no. Dela Cruz slots in behind him, takes it round turn 1. We have got literally barely 1 lap remaining here for these guys. 1.5 laps, including the one they're on, and Maxwell's out in front by 11 seconds.
Side-by-side racing. Good side-by-side racing between the two. It's Damien G and Sergio Dela Cruz, and Darryl Taylor getting away and succeeding in that is Damien G. into 8th position. John McCutcheon is probably going to run out laps to get near either of them really now. But it's not very spread out in the midfield. Really, there's not many big gaps from from James Child all the way down to Jamie Bird in 20th. There's not many gaps at all as Ben Underdown is beginning to apply some pressure for second place here as Luke Maxwell continues to lead all of the laps in this race.
Yeah, he's led from start to finish. He avoided the incident. It was really weird, actually, because Edwards ran wide. That opened a door for Crab. Crab stuck his nose up there like he's entitled to do. Don't forget the great words of Ayrton Senna. If you stop going for the gap, you might as well stop being a racing driver. He stuck his nose up. Edwards turned back on the inside of him. Boom. McCutchinson, Gonzaga, Edwards, Crab, LeMay, Bousson, all involved, which put them all out of position. The good thing is for the Scotsman at the moment of John McCutcheon, he's sitting in that pole position place for race 2. So he can redeem himself here as well. Paul LeMay fighting out with Phil Jocelyn. He was involved in the incident once more as well and ended up going into the pits to get repairs done. So we'll see how he can get on once more. But at the moment, this man, as he comes through Knickerbrook, he's led every single lap from start to finish. He's going to take the win by, what do we reckon, 13 and a half seconds maybe, if he keeps pulling out time?
It kind of depends how the second place battle goes. And if it really kicks off, then he will gain a little bit more time. But it won't matter to him, really. Luke Maxwell will be back to winning ways again in the Radical Road Series, and that's what will really matter here. He'll have to start this second race from 10th place, but that's all right by him because Luke Maxwell is going to take the win here in race 1 at Oulton Park. Takes it by quite some distance to the rest. James Child will hang on to second ahead of Ben Underdown. What a dominant drive it was from Luke Maxwell, though, as the chaos behind really opened the door for him to get away with a race lead.
Yeah, it definitely did. That just, well, that was just insane. Literally physically insane. I don't think we've seen a race where them guys have done that so much here. Phil Glover's also put himself off in Knickerbrook, and unfortunately, he manages to survive and come back onto the track. But unfortunately for Phil, he did something after and ended up in the pits. So I don't know what he did after that, but whatever he did, he obviously did himself a good old cropper because he ended up in the pits. But yeah, that was, well, I don't really know what to say, given, to be honest. It was madness.
It was carnage, really. So a good race for us to watch, maybe not for some who were involved in it, really, because there was a lot going on there, it has to be said. Let's take a look at the results then as we finish the opening race of the evening. Luke Maxwell wins by nearly 13 seconds ahead of James Child and Ben Underdown, with James Barry continuing his great start to the season in 4th place. David Rollston rounds out the top 5 ahead of Michael LeMay, who finishes way ahead of his brother. Darryl Taylor finishes 7th after getting away from Damien G and Sergio De La Cruz in the latter laps. John McCutcheon will be starting from pole in the second race after getting back to the all-important 10th place at the expense of Robert Woodward. Clark Williams finished 12th after his spin on the front straight, with Chris Max Davies gaining lots of positions throughout that race. So did Phil Jocelyn at the time. He finished just ahead of Paul LeMay. George Gonzaga finished just outside the top 15 with Wayne Palmer 17th. Then Simon Edwards all the way down in 18th. Only 3 points for him. Only 2 for Jamie Bird and only 1 for Andy Thomas. Phil Glover, Paul Crabb, Paul Godden, Keir Palmer and Mike Bousson all failed to score points in that race. And Seth Brown, I suppose, but he never took the start, to be fair to him. So we're in warm-up again right now, and well, how do they recover from a race like that? We know that Oulton Park always delivers great racing, chaos as well, and we've had that in absolute spades already tonight, even before we've started race 2. Yeah, I think he's the favourite for this race, no doubt. But it's about points once again. And I know we go on, or I go on about championships a bit too early, but James Barry will have gained a good 7 points on him there. And he's only got a 17-point advantage. So McCutcheon does need a bit of a result here. Not that he needs it, but he would like to regain some of those. He'll be starting from pole here in race 2 ahead of Sergio De La Cruz. Damien G and Darryl Taylor will be on row 2 ahead of Michael LeMay and Dave Roston. James Barry, the man we were just talking about, will be 7th alongside Ben Underdown with James Child and Luke Maxwell rounding up the top 10. Robert Woodward and Clark Williams just missed out on benefiting from that reverse grid. Chris Davies will be 13th alongside Phil Justin as Paul LeMay and George Gonzaga line up behind them. Wayne Palmer and Simon Edwards are on row 9 ahead of Jamie Bird and Andy Thomas, I should say. Phil Glover and Paul Crabb, row 11, ahead of Paul Godden and Kian Palmer, with Mike Pearson bringing up the rear. There's some very talented drivers towards the back there who'll be looking to make their way through the field very quickly in this race. Here they come. The lights for race 2 of the Radical Race Series here at Oulton Park. We are ready to go once again, and John McCutcheon from the front is going to get us underway. It's a good start from those behind, though. De La Cruz down his inside, so's Damien G, although G backs off. Sergio De La Cruz gets into the lead of this race early on. He's going to defend it towards Cascades, which is not ideal for John McCutcheon, but it will just lead him around the outside. He can't do it, and John McCutcheon's gone around. He saves the car. He's going to keep it out the wall, I think, but he comes onto the circuit very aggressively, and he's dropped way back. It's not a good day for John McCutcheon in a race where he was favourite to take the win. Oh no! Jamie Bird as well. Simon Edwards off. Jamie Bird off the road, and off as well is Paul Godden in the background. What is going on here today in this race and these races? Palmer now goes through. That's Kian Palmer, I think, who's made his way through on the way in towards Druids. Well, this has been quite phenomenal, and it's not always in a good way, but lots of drama, so much drama in this opening moment. Jamie Bird's out of the race, by the way. He's done for the day. John McCutcheon back to 14th, as James Barry is already nearly second. What a great drive from him so far. There goes Luke Maxwell into 7th place. He's gained 3 spots on the race so far, but James Barry has already gained 5. It's been fantastic so far, and it's far from over just yet. Side by side up the hill there, just in front of John McCutcheon. It is Crabb and Jocelyn. Paul Crabb on the inside makes his way through, and that's a big stack up through there. You don't want to do that. You'll find yourself in trouble. Mike Pearson, by the way, has gained 9 places already in this race. He's looking for a 10th on lap 2. What a fantastic drive that would be as he makes his way down the inside of George Gonzaga, or tries to, in the final corner, and he's not quite got it by the line, but he will have 10 places in a moment, and Simon Edwards is just trying to follow him through a little bit at the moment. He's a little bit on further back, but all of the big names, or a lot of them anyway, are down towards the back right now. Some of those guys towards the front, like Sergio De La Cruz, James Barry, Damien G, Darryl Taylor, they've got a priceless chance to get a podium, or indeed win this race maybe. Yeah, it's all going on further. But oh no, Edwards! He's going to be in the pit lane if he's not careful. He got damage against the wall. Well, Simon Edwards has had a disaster today, I'm afraid. He's into the wall again, losing places again. Everyone scores points in this race, by the way, but he's not going to get many. There he is into the wall. What a disaster it's been for Simon Edwards so far today. What a strange race as well. All of the big contenders that you'd expect to see at the front have just had problem after problem. Is just carnage, to be honest. Further back, it's from 7th place on backwards. Ben Underdown's at the front of it, and all of those names are in there that you just mentioned. Final corner stuff it is. Down the inside from LeMay. He gets through on his brother. That's Michael LeMay. Paul Crabb trying to follow through. John McCutcheon as well. That's quite close in towards turn 1. Crabb didn't fancy that. John McCutcheon's going to try and find his way through now, and we'll have to do it on Crabb first by the looks of it. Oh, looks to the inside on the way through turn 2. That's not always ideal. He ends up at the outside for free as Simon Edwards is off the road and back to pit lane, I'm afraid. He's not a lap in front of the field, by the way, as the timing screen seems to suggest he's nearly down towards the back. In fact, he's had a complete disaster today.
Yeah, he's in the pits, he's gone in, he's come back out once more, and it's done the job. And so it looks like Edwards now is all the way down in 22nd place, and is running right near the back. Buson, Rolliston and Woodward fighting out. Then we've got LeMay's, and I'll say LeMay's because there's two of them, but one of them's got Paul Crabb right up behind him in the moment as well. Let the car run out. Let the car run out. There you go, Michael LeMay. That's what he should have done the first time. He wouldn't have lost them 2 positions. He did it this time around, and that's great driving from Michael LeMay there to hold the Irishman and Paul Crabb back. Luke Maxwell, though, with Darrell Taylor. Maxwell's looking to go in the inside. Taylor gives him an insurmountable, respectful amount of room, and Maxwell now goes up.
Yep, fourth for Luke Maxwell. I still think the lead might be too far away for him, but we'll find out. Goes a little bit wide there, does Maxwell, but he's only following in the wheel tracks of Damien G. Ben Underdown and Paul LeMay still fight for 7th place, and that group from 9th on backwards is still ongoing as well. There is Paul Crabb. Who would expect to see Paul Crabb, John McCutcheon, Michael LeMay and Mike Buson all back here fighting for 9th place? It's quite a remarkable situation that we've got, and we've got the likes of Woodward, Gonzaga and Rolliston further behind as well, with Phil Justin bring up the rear in terms of this train. It is quite remarkable. Single file for the moment, but you wouldn't imagine it's going to last that long, really. It's going to kick off before long, and it has done for 3rd. Luke Maxwell's been up the inside of Damien G and towards Knickerbrook, I presume, and he's made his way through. What about McCutcheon further behind, or is it Buson? It's Buson, in fact, trying to make his way through on LeMay. That's not going to happen into Knickerbrook. He found himself on the outside, although Justin's gone way wide. Rolliston's going to get a place as a result of that.
Yeah, Palmer is as well. Palmer's up 8 places. This young man, his first race of the evening. Phil Glover, Phil Jocelyn and Wayne Palmer fighting it out further back. Michael LeMay has now got Buson climbing all over him at the moment. Buson is seriously getting close with Robert Woodward right behind. Look at the battle for the lead. Dela Cruz has had his gap closed by James Barry. Is this going to be Barry's first win of the season? He's taken a 3rd, he's taken another 3rd, and he's taken a 2nd. This will be for James Barry 4 podiums. No, it won't, because he didn't get one in race 1. It'll be his first win if he can get it, and now after that we'll see what happens with James Barry. But at the moment, I think if James Barry can hang this season out, he's in with a real chance.
Yeah, he's started off really well. It surprised me, I've got to say. Now he's looking up the inside of Sergio De La Cruz in towards Knickerbrook, and he will make his move. There he goes, down the inside. through easy. Well, I don't say easy as you like, because it probably wasn't, but in the end, he finds his way through. He doesn't have that overpowering pace for Sergio De La Cruz, who's a quick driver in his own right, and took some battling there. But he was always going to be second best in that battle, unfortunately, and it makes you wonder whether Luke Maxwell can get to second. Can he even get to first place? I think the latter is fairly unlikely, but a battle for second may well be on the cards before the end.
Child, Taylor and G. Can G have two great finishes here as well? He's down one from where he started, but this man can get some points on the board. Crab goes and sets the fastest lap. He's chasing down with Paul LeMay and Ben Underdown. You can see the three of them in the background. George Gonzaga, Robert Woodward and Michael LeMay still scrapping it out as well. There's still battles, but can this man, if De La Cruz keeps doing that, this man will get him. And for Luke Maxwell, he's got 10 laps here, so it's going to be an interesting one.
Does have a while, so let's see if he can get there as Daryl Taylor is in battle with Damien G here out of the hairpin over the hill. Oh goodness, and look at who's that in the background. It's Ben Underdown, is it, trying to make it? No, sorry, James Child trying to make his way through and does get involved. So it was Taylor and G who were side by side. Now James Child come through, and he did very well in the first race, of course, getting on that podium. Maybe wants another one. Think that's going to be out of reach, but he's inside the top 5 again. Going to be a big points haul for him here today, and a good round overall. But there's so many top contenders further behind as well. The likes of Paul LeMay, Paul Crabb, and John McCutcheon are all not too far away.
The Irishman and the Scotsman find himself down in 9th and 10th. Crab's up 13. Hutch is down 9. Don't forget as well, he led the race, then went and binned it off as well, unfortunately for him. But it's been a very interesting race, I'm not going to lie. Paul Crabb, Paul LeMay and John McCutcheon, 3 very quick drivers, 3 real, and I say this honestly, title contenders battling it out together. Simon Edwards, 17 seconds away here as well. Actually, Edwards is out. He's out, is Simon Edwards. Oh, he went off and then jumped back into the pits. What did he do?
So this is a second issue for him. Gets on the grass and into the wall for the second time in this race and says, that will do. Thank you very much. And so I don't believe he got any points for the first round, or only a few.
Got 3.
And what's he going to get for this one? Down the inside, by the way, there goes Underdown on Jamie and G, who's going to be under big pressure now from Paul Crabb, who just overtook Paul LeMay and wants another place as well. We'll get that into Druids, and LeMay can't follow through. So now McCutcheon's going to have a chance as the momentum just switches sides and pendulums around as it has been doing at this race. McCutcheon now heads to the outside, tries to cut off LeMay as best as he could. LeMay has a big slide. Damien G does as well. And slaloming through them both is John McCutcheon as he makes his way through on 2 places and makes his way into 7th.
Oh, did you see LeMay? I bet that was a brownie pant moment, I've got to be honest, for Paul LeMay, because normally when you come out of that corner, the only place you're going is in that wall there, Ewan. So a great job from Paul LeMay at the moment in time. But look at the cars behind Hutchinson. LeMay, G, Child, Buson, Michael LeMay, George Gonzaga, Robert Woodward, all fighting it out. And then further down, you go, oh, Michael LeMay! Oh, man, you can tell the new depth grass has done its job there.
I mean, it's a bit too sticky, I would argue. But yes, it's slowed him down a treat there. So we'll be glad about that. He's not catapulted into anybody else by the looks of it. So John McCutcheon holds on to 7th place. There's Paul LeMay just behind. Then Jamie G, James Child, who's dropped a few places there, hasn't he? As James Child. Mike Boosson there as well. This is so packed up in the midfield. It's such a contrast to what we saw in the opening race where the gaps were so big. Now they're quite so small. And Luke Maxwell's up to 2nd place and challenging for a race win as well. Surely he can't take a double race win in one evening, but that's what he's challenging to do. Crab. Yeah. So turn 1 is that. That turn one is. He's right behind a couple of drivers in front of him. No, it's not. It's somewhere else. Down the hill. Not Cascades again. Oh, he's just gone straight on. And, well, that looks almost intentional in a way. But yeah, but after a long time, look how far he is off the back of the field. And he clearly had something to attend to there, I'm afraid. And he's dropped miles away from the rest of the field. A real shame for Paul Crabb, really, who made good progress in this race, actually, but that's been put to an end now. He's sort of freed the others, the likes of McCutcheon and Paul LeMay, who are now closing on this battle for 4th place. Yeah, it really is. What a topsy-turvy day we've had here in the Radical Race Series. Oulton Park should be on the schedule every season. Never mind Nordschleifer. Get that off. Put Oulton Park on every season. This is absolutely fantastic. We experienced it, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. It was a season where we had about 1 million people challenging for the title. We had Webster off the road that day, and McCutcheon, Edwards, Maxwell, everyone was all over the place. I think it was the day that Webster really, sort of, not mathematically, but maybe morally, had himself out of the championship and has not really returned to us too often since then, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a crazy venue, and it's created quite the race here this evening. We're 2/3 of the way through the feature, and now Luke Maxwell is all over the back of James Barry. You do feel for the race leader here. He will want his first win of the season, but Luke Maxwell's probably going to deny him here, surely.
I'm not going to say that Maxwell's going to play the nice game. He's not going to sit there and be like, yeah, it's all right, James, go take your first win. No. Maxwell's going to challenge Barry. Maxwell's going to put him under pressure, and Maxwell will try and go for that win. And if he well, I would be surprised if he gets it. He's looked so strong here this evening.
He has. And to catch James Barry in the way that he has is very impressive. You saw the way that Barry took a long time to catch and pass Sergio De La Cruz. Problem wasn't the same for Luke Maxwell, and now it's not the same either for James Barry. It's going to be a bit more difficult to overtake because it is for the win, of course, but he's right there and he has time on his side as well and space behind him as well. James Barry makes sure he holds on to the inside for Druids, but he gives him the shortest run through on this left-hander on the way in, and Luke Maxwell goes through. A quite phenomenal drive to gain 9 places in the space of roughly 2/3 of this race, and now he's just got 5 more laps at the end of this one to bring it home. James Barry's going to be denied. Luke Maxwell is putting on a magician's performance, and he's going to win again. 65 points on the day for him, surely coming up.
Well, all right. Settle down, Mr. O'Leary. We've still got 5 to do. We've seen what's happened to championship leaders and race leaders already. You know, let's get come on, James. I can't see past Luke, but go James Barry. Let's just put it that way. Ben Underdown scrapping out. He's got, well, just for good health, he's got now John McCutcheon and Paul LeMay. And unfortunately, Darryl Taylor has lost 2 places to both of them guys. But at the moment, yeah, it's, I'm not really sure how to explain this evening, considering Palmer, Edwards, Godden, Davies, Bird and Brown are out, and in the pits. So, yeah. Does it all, really?
Does. It does a bit. A real shame to see so many out of the race. But it's the nature of having so many cars on the grid a little bit. Maybe that has contributed to a few things tonight. But even so, there would have been a big crash if Paul Crabb had lost it in front of 10 drivers or whatever it was. So, you know, it's a difficult one to answer as LeMay goes wide there. Darrell Taylor will regain one of those places that he just lost, surely only widening the gap between himself and John McCutcheon, because it's only a matter of time here as well as we go on to 4 laps to go. Michael LeMay's having a bit of a disaster further down, but McCutcheon here should be able to get 4th place, and that may well be it, because he's got quite a gap up to the podium drivers. But what disappointment he'll have today. He was in a prime position to win this second race.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He's going to be kicking himself. Absolutely kicking himself. I just had a quick scan through the rules. I was just trying to see if there was a lap limit to score points as well. I can't I can't see anything. So Edwards may have gotten away sitting in 21st there, of course, but he will score points for this one. If there isn't, he will get 10, which means he will only have 13 for the whole evening for Simon Edwards. Not a good night for him. Probably going to be one of his drop weeks.
I think it will almost certainly be, unless he doesn't appear for 3 of them. I think he'll do well to score less than this, as John McCutcheon makes his way down the inside of Ben Underdown, and that was a nice move in the end. Underdown still inside the top 5 here, though, in his return to the Radical Race Series. He spent the entirety of last season on our standings, having scored no points. Or maybe he did 1 round, but he didn't do any more than that. And he's back now. He's racing a lot more regularly, and he's racing well as well. I think he'll do well to finish inside the top 5 here, given the battles behind. But then again, you never know. Anything could happen in this group, quite honestly. Darrell Taylor's now back in front of LeMay again. Gonzaga has joined in. Mike Bousson is there all over again. And James Child inside the top 10 is fighting back as well. Bousson's got a better line through turn 1. He'll have a look at Gonzaga here towards Cascades. Or will he? No, he will back off. Just put out. He didn't need to make the move. George Gonzaga goes off on his own, and that is again place for Bousson and James Child.
Yeah, unfortunately for George Gonzaga there. Not an ideal scenario towards the end of the race. He's probably going to be a little bit more kicking himself on that, as he's now down into 13th. But I've got to be honest, this has been like a roller coaster. We've had the highs, we've had the lows, we've had the ups, the downs, the rounds, the spins. It's been everything here this evening.
Yeah, really have had everything. And Oulton Park has delivered for us once again in absolute spades. We could bring it back more, iRacing, please.
Every week.
Well, every week's maybe a bit extreme, but every season at a minimum. That's what we like to see. One of the Palmers off the road, by the way, further back. Don't know which one it is. I think Wayne Palmer's out of the race, isn't he?
No, it was Wayne, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Oh, he's been side by side with Jocelyn.
This was not nice.
All on his own, unfortunately, for Wayne Palmer.
Well, sort of, yeah. He was bashing into Jocelyn on the way down.
Everybody else has made it through there too wide. Come on.
Well, that's true. But, well, say everybody. Jamie Bird did end up, and Simon Edwards actually on the opening lap, but that's a different story on the opening lap, because there was a lot going on once again, as you might expect. Paul LeMay's down the inside of Darrell Taylor, and that is a move made at Island Bend. What about Mike Bousson? Will he capitalise? No. We'll go high on the banking. Look for that run out, and maybe they'll go side by side. Nickerbrook as well. He's in the slipstream. Up over the top of the hill now. You get there. It's down the middle of the road goes Taylor. Sort of hinting him to the inside, though, by staying to the left. Does Taylor will squeeze Bousson to keep him on that tight line, but it won't matter because Mike Bousson has the inside line, and he's got 7th place now as well. Darrell Taylor will have some defending to do with James Child there as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a good, to be fair for Darrell Taylor, right? It's been a good night, hasn't it? He's had a good night, you know. Good night of racing. He was down 4, so what was he, 6th in race 1, and then obviously qualified on the front, on the second row in 4th place, and now he's only 8th. So 8th and 6th, that ain't bad. So, you know, I think he's had a good night, Darrell Taylor, and I think he'll admit that as well, with James Child now chasing up behind him. Our leader is on round Shell Oils for the final time.
It's the last lap of the race. Crept up quite quickly, actually, as this one. 1.8 seconds is the gap at the front, and it is now finally starting to spread out just a little bit. But there's Luke Maxwell. I mean, what can you say about a double win? It doesn't get any better than this. I can't remember the last time Luke Maxwell actually did this. I think the last time it happened at all was
a long time
did
ago.
McCutcheon manage it last season? I think he may have done.
Yes, Hutch got it last season.
And I think before that, Dan Webster managed it in the season where he went pretty close to a title. And yeah, Luke Maxwell's about to manage it as well. A full 65 points. It's not only about the sprint race, of course, which he didn't actually have to fight that hard for in the end. It was just the pace that won him in that one. It was about the 9 overtakes that he had to make throughout this second race. That's what's won him race 2. And that is the full clean sweep from Luke Maxwell at Oulton Park in the Radical Race Series. What a fantastic drive from him. What a fantastic evening overall. Into the final corners. The battles will stay the same. It will peter out just towards the end. What a couple of races we have seen, even though we've had the same race winner twice.
Yeah, you know what, right? I don't care that Maxwell's won twice, because he has done a stellar job. I don't care, but I just... When the racing is that good, you kind of lose sight of... Oh, hello. Buson and McCutcheon there. You kind of lose sight of everything that happened around him. There was some great racing, great side-by-sides, 2 wide round Druids, 2 wide round Knickerbrook. It was epic, and I don't care what anybody says. This is by far one of the if not the best SR10 league on iRacing. It is incredible. They're so respectful. The racing's been amazing. Yeah, you can't fault it, can you?
Oh, absolutely not. It's a fantastic place to be, and you can get involved as well, by the way, if you're watching and fancy a piece of it. Visit the website. It's in the description. Why not? Meanwhile, let's have a look at the standings at the end of that race. Luke Maxwell beats James Barry by about 1.8 seconds and just within 5 seconds of Sergio De La Cruz. John McCutcheon rescues a 4th place finish in the end there, which is a good result for him, just ahead of Ben Underdown. Paul LeMay 6th, ahead of Mike Booson, then Darryl Taylor, James Chard and Robert Woodward rounding out the top 10. George Gonzaga finishes just outside of that with that late spin at Cascades. Damien G and Phil Glover are 12th and 13th. Nice race there from Phil. David Royston and Phil Jocelyn will round out the top 15. Then it's Clark Williams and Michael LeMay, the last drivers with inside a minute, along with Wayne Palmer, actually, just over a minute back with Paul Crabb, who had that bizarre incident at Cascades where he just seemed to park up. Kim Palmer finished 8 laps down, 12 laps down with Simon Edwards and Paul Godden. Chris Max Davies, Jamie Bird and Andy Thomas were more laps down than that. They retired on lap 1, did Bird and Thomas, by the way. Well, there's only one man we can bring in to interview now, isn't there, really, at the end of all that? It is, of course, Luke Maxwell, who is in the booth. Welcome in, Luke. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? 2 race wins in one night. How would you assess that overall?
Oh, my God, that's just amazing, really. God, I love that track, I really do, but obviously I was upset and pleased at the sprint race. Was it lap 2, I think, where unfortunately Paul and Simon came together. But just seeing a puff of smoke in your mirrors and a sudden gap and a bit of relief, to be honest, having driven as badly as I did last week. So.
Don't tell me you didn't sit there and go, yes! Come on.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I know. I thought you might have done. Anyway.
I was like, right, just, oh my God, there's loads of them gone. I thought, just take it easy, but I'll better push a bit. Just if you ease off too much, don't you? You lose concentration. So just keep pushing, but not silly. And then race 2 was just, oh my God, I'm knackered, absolutely shattered. That was hard work.
Yeah, and it was, in race 1, one of the biggest crashes I've ever seen, to be honest. Never mind just in this series, but any. It was quite spectacular. And strange things always do seem to happen around here, as you would have experienced in the past. In one season where we had a great championship fight, I believe you were involved in it at the time, Luke. All sorts of stuff was going on. This round was about 3 rounds to go, and it was carnage at this circuit, and it was once again here tonight. Race 2, as you mentioned, was possibly more engaging for you. I know that race wins are always engaging, but you were driving on your own for the first race. You certainly weren't in the second. How did you rate your chances of winning this one at the start and then at the end of lap 1? Because it is worth noting that John McCutcheon did really lose himself about 15 places on that opening lap.
Yeah, I thought, well, John's in pole for race 2, he's probably got a really good chance. I don't think even if I get through the field, I probably wouldn't be able to catch up the gap. I guess I checked and thought, oh right, where's John gone? Let's just keep going and don't go too mad. It's a really hard place to pass, but I think all the moves were fairly clean there, and just had to force it a little bit at times, but just trying to keep it safe, keep it on track, and not do anything too silly. I felt I had good pace, from kind of practice and quality, but it's different in the race, when you're in the dirty air trying to follow people. I think certainly when I came across Sergio and James up front, I thought, oh, they're going quite quick. Even if I catch them, am I going to get past? But luckily, just a couple of mistakes from the guys there, and managed to force it through.
Absolutely, making up 9 places on that second race and taking the race win as well. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Luke, before we let you go this evening?
Give a shout out to my mates. We're off to golf weekend tomorrow, so birthday weekend. Let's go and play some golf and watch the Ryder Cup and have a break from the sim.
How good are you at golf?
Average.
Okay, enjoy yourself. Congratulations, Luke, on 2 races, race wins tonight, I should say, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Cheers, boys. See ya.
Thanks very much, Luke Maxwell there. Average at golf, he says, but not average at driving, as evidenced by tonight. Let's bring in Sergio de la Cruz, shall we? We've not got James Barry for the moment. We finished second, but Sergio can join us now. Welcome in. Good to have you with us. You were leading at some point during that race, Sergio, and maybe there was a chance at a race win. How highly did you rate your chances of taking the win at that point? When you were in the lead, did you realise the task that was ahead of you, or did you believe that you might be able to do it?
Good evening, guys. No, I knew I had no chance of winning this race. My position was where I qualified, like between P10 and P15. I was just very lucky on the first race because everybody crashed, and I was lucky enough to avoid all the accidents. So to be P9 and then started from the front, but I knew that even though John had the spin on turn 2, I think, the moment I saw James Barry and Luke Maxwell behind me, I knew that they would pass me. My only hope was to stay close to them, and maybe if they fought hard enough, I could have a chance, but no way.
Not this time, but you do still pick up a podium here. What's the rest of the season going to look like for you, though, Sergio? Because sometimes in the last couple of seasons, we've not seen you at every round, or things have been going on or whatever. How often are we going to be seeing you this season, and what do you hope to get from it?
I hope this season I will be able to do most of the races, maybe a couple of drops. But no summer in between. I hope I will be able to race more.
We certainly hope so. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I would like to give a shout to all these guys because of the racing. I didn't have many fights, but they were tough but fair. So it's amazing to drive here.
It certainly is amazing to watch as well. Congratulations on the podium tonight, Sergio, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Sergio de la Cruz there chatting to us at the end of the race on the podium. Daryl Taylor, unfortunately, wasn't on the podium, but he was running there for a little while, and we can chat to him now. Daryl, welcome in. Good to have you with us. One of the busiest race 2s I've seen you have for a while, although that applies to a lot of people, because there was a lot going on in that second race. How did you find it?
Hello. Busy. I think it's just a case of keeping it clean. I think that's what I was aiming for. Keeping it clean. Just try and be as wide as possible, and not make mistakes. I made a few mistakes, like 3 people passed at one point. Good though. Good fun. Warm now.
Yes, it is bizarrely warm.
That's so cool, doesn't he, Ewan? He's had so cool. He's had his best races ever of the season. And Daryl just jumps in and goes, "Yeah, I'm a little bit warm, just keeping it clean." You know what I mean? You've expected a little bit more enthusiasm from the man here as well, who's just finished both races inside the top 10. Come on, Daryl, where's the enthusiasm?
Fair play. It's good. Considering the size of the grid as well. So enthusiastic. I'm smiling on the inside. How's that?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'll take it. But, next time, Daryl.
He has high standards for enthusiasm, does Jade?
I do, yes, especially when you've had a race like he's had. You know, we've had a stellar evening. 2 top 10s. Go, Daryl. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'll support
Thank
you,
you.
mate, if nobody else will. Don't you worry about it. I've got your back. Don't
All
listen
right.
to Ewan.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Don't you worry about it. Anyway, sorry, Ewan.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. I mean, it's. Anyway, so I forgot where I was going to go after that because we started chatting about something else. But anyway, how pleased are you, Daryl, to see so many people out here tonight? I know Oulton Park's quite popular with the community, and a lot of people have it, which has been a problem for the likes of Manicore, for example, which people didn't have until about a week ago. How pleased are you, sort of from the admin side and the organisational side, that we had 25 start this evening? It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's just hope it stays like that now. Depends on the tracks. I think we'll probably lose a few when it gets to RS. I think people don't seem to like that, but we'll see how we go. Is it Road America next week? So
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll keep the numbers up. A few new people as well, so it's good.
Yes. A few new drivers out there, as you say. Is there anyone else like to give a shout out to, Daryl, before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out to my wife. It's my 27th wedding anniversary today. So,
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's all right.
Congratulations.
You should have told
And
me earlier.
congratulations on 2 top 10s to celebrate.
2 top 10s and a 27-year wedding anniversary. Look at you.
What more could you want?
Well, so
Speaking to you guys as well, cherry on the top.
next Friday's
there are some
lottery
downsides.
numbers, you can get me them if you're on a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Oh, all right then. Thanks, Daryl. Love you too.
You wouldn't be doing this, James, if you'd. That's why.
No, I'd do it on a
no,
grander scale, wouldn't you? You'd go and hire a warehouse or something and bring you all over. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'll stop rambling now.
Yeah, we'll stop dreaming. Thanks very much, Daryl, for chatting to us, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Take care, mate.
Thanks very much. Daryl Taylor there. A couple of top 10s here tonight, and a very entertaining evening for him. Let's have a chat now to Phil Glover, shall we?
Oh, okay.
As we bring him in. It's just need to get it ready. Phil, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well. Back again in the Radical Race Series, and you had a good evening, I would say, especially a good second race where you gained a lot of positions in the end, taking advantage of the chaos here and there and picking up the places where you could. How was the evening overall?
Yeah, well, it's great to be back. I've been away from, well, not away. My computer, we built a new computer and it literally went off like a gunshot. It exploded, so I had to rebuild it with the help of Simon and 1 or 2 other people that I've got. So, yeah, it's good to be back. Race 1, I got a really good start, didn't I? Well, you're probably looking at the front guys, but I was at the back of the grid and I must have been up about 5 or 6 places. Into is it Shell Oils, the tight turn?
Yeah.
And I just caught somebody, unfortunately, so I don't know who that was. I need to make an apology. They just braked a little bit more than I thought they were perhaps going to, so I clipped them on the back. I can't really remember much about the first race, but the second one was pretty competitive. Actually, I do remember driving in the first race, and I was holding my own when a few of them were starting to, because I was a lap down, so I wasn't too far off the pace, but obviously pulled over to let them pass every now and again. It was good night for me, really, I suppose.
Yeah, it certainly was in terms of gaining places as well. What did happen to your PC? How does it literally explode? I don't understand.
Yeah, so we built a brand new computer with a 3090 and the 7800 3D, which is a good chip with new motherboard. And I was running it, and then it all went completely dead. Bearing in mind I'm in VR. So I thought, well, that's not good. So I thought maybe it's a fuse. So I took the power cable out, checked the fuse was good. I was bending over the computer and I put the power cable back in, and it literally was like a gunshot went off. And the PSU just exploded, the power supply just exploded, and then nothing worked, obviously. So from there on, you think, oh, what's it done to everything? And it probably took me at least a couple of weeks, 3 weeks to get it all sorted out. I was expecting they have to send loads of bits back. But in the end, it was just the power supply, and it took out a couple of RGBs, I think, and that's it really. So I was very lucky in the end.
Did you turn the plug off before you put the lead back in, Phil?
Yes, I turned the switch off from the back of the computer, but I guess what happens is the capacitors drew all the power in, and then it just extended the MOSFET, I think. Yeah, it was pretty scary at the time.
That does sound quite scary, to be honest. To be honest, I didn't realise it could just explode. To be honest, I've never seen that before. But there we go. We were talking to Darryl earlier about the numbers here at Oulton Park. It's fantastic turnout and a great circuit as well. What about Road America? How do you? Well, first of all, how did you like driving around here? Because I didn't ask you that first of all, Oulton Park. But what about Road America as well? Coming up next week.
I do love Oulton. It's quite a technical track, isn't it? And there's a lot to catch you out. But it's great fun. It's perfect for the radicals, both the SR8 and the 10. Road America, it's not a bad circuit for me generally. So let's just put the curse of death onto it. But let's wait and see. Yeah, I'm hopeful. And now I've got a new computer, and hopefully it keeps going. My graphics are running at a full 90 hertz, whereas often they were down to 74 or so, which doesn't make it easy in VR. So I'm hoping this might be a decent season for me, but time will tell.
Let's hope so. Glad to have you back, Phil. Good to see you back again, and good to speak to you again. We'll hopefully see you next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Take care, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks so much. Phil Glover there chatting to us at the end of the races here at Oulton Park, and we've got one more interview as well, as Paul Godden will join us here tonight. Welcome in, Paul. Good to have you with us as well. Not the evening that you will have wanted in some ways, I suppose. Tell us how it went overall.
Evening, guys. No, it's just one of those race nights that didn't really go well from the start and just kept on going wrong, unfortunately. But it was great to see the race numbers up tonight to, was it 25, 26? Yeah. It was. I kept seeing people joining, and I was like saying to our new lad Kia, and I said, look, it's going to be a tough night tonight with like maybe 12, 15 cars, and they just kept coming in, and the calibre of driver and it was incredible. So it's great to see the league doing really well first thing. So, but yeah, no, my race night didn't. I went into race one with a changed setup, unfortunately, between qualifying and race. Just because I felt a bit more comfortable with a setup from last night, and I forgot that I was running the stronger brakes, and then into turn 2 I braked and just locked up and went off, and that was race 1 over. And then race 2 I was enjoying it, racing around at the back with the guys I normally race with, but nothing too stupid, just sit behind them, have a bit of a battle here and there, and I just hit a curb on the outside of the hairpin, and it just spat me into the wall, and wasn't expecting it, and it jarred my arm and shoulder a bit, so I decided to call it a day and not do any more damage to myself or get annoyed. So it's just one of them things, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't go so well, I suppose. You mentioned there that the number is fantastic tonight, and we very much enjoyed that. I mean, what is it like starting one of these? We're just watching actually in slow motion what the start. I believe this is the second race on the screens at the moment. Just what is it like in comparison to the other weeks? I mean, it's not exactly quiet in the other weeks. There's still lots of great racing going on, and it doesn't mean we can't have a messy start any week. But what is it like adding those extra few cars onto the grid and really having to duck your way through the chaos, which there was a bit of in the opening of both races?
Yeah, I thought both races would be a little bit more hectic, to be honest, with that many cars. And especially with us starting at the back, we were starting either on the brow of the hill or some of us actually down the bottom of the hill. So that makes it even more tricky. But one thing I worked on last season was the start. So I can normally make at least 1 or 2 places up on the starts. But tonight, I was just getting boxed in everywhere. And so with the extra cars, everyone's just backing off a little bit more. And the advantage that I would normally have to get that little few extra places just wasn't there. But I thought overall the starts were actually fairly clean, so it could have been a lot crazy with that many cars, and especially around Oulton Park with such a narrow racetrack as well.
Yes, it can provide some problems sometimes. Paul, thanks very much for coming to have a chat to us again. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously shout out to yourself and James for the broadcast. I think tonight's one's going to be a cracking one to watch back tomorrow morning. From what I saw I've done a lot of spectating tonight, but it looked really good all the way through the pack. And then secondly, I'd like to also say to our new driver, Kian, he'd never done a broadcast league race before, so he was a little bit nervous, but we're trying to teach him how to do it, and he found it a bit tough, but overall, I think he's done very well, and he's going to be here for the whole season with us. And hopefully, we can help him build the confidence and have some great races throughout the season. And then, lastly, just to the organisers and the admin for putting on a great league, because after last season, where the numbers were down, they've done a great job in getting a couple more people in to build it and numbers up and keep the quality and in the driving standards as well.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Thanks so much, Paul, for coming to have a chat again, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Paul Godden, there chatting to us at the end of the broadcast here tonight. Well, Oulton Park always delivers, James. That's what we can take away from this. We should have it on the schedule every season. Obviously, iRacing's in control of that. But yeah, what a great round we've had here. Round 3 this season. And yeah, whenever it is in the season, it's a fantastic time. And once again, it's been a great race, or a great couple of races.
Yeah, it has, to be fair. Amazing. This is amazing. The racing has been epic here. We've seen some frills, spills, angry drivers who's going to go away kicking themselves. Edward and McHutchinson might rule the day that they decided to spin. You know, there was so much going on, so much to reflect on. It was just absolutely incredible. But Road America next week, bring it on. Let's see how we get on.
Yes, let's see how we get on. Big thank you to everyone who's tuned in here this evening. It's been great to have your company again. I've been Ewan O'Leary. James Parfitt has been alongside me. And until we see you in 1 week's time when we visit Road America for the first of 3 American races in 5 weeks, it's goodbye for now.